So what better way to know what, what customers can use than to test it out myself. If you're like me, you might have a Wendigo and maybe you're really not into rock racing that much. Let's face it, for myself, going back and forth in the yard pretty fast, it's not really fun for a long time for me. I want to be in the rocks. And even with a censored system, the Wendigo is a really high geared rig. So what I did is I installed some new products in here that helped it go just slow enough. And I actually haven't tested this out, but I tested another motor in there first, and I am pretty sure that this is going to be the killer combo. We installed the Crawlmaster 550 in a 13 turn for today, combined with a 9-tooth pinion from Robinson Racing. We're also running it on a 3-cell Helios RC. I believe it's a 5200 milliamp hour pack, a big pack. And then for a budget, I went with the 1080 from Hobbywing for the ESC. And I also added in the freewheeling mode. I turned freewheeling on so that we have on-throttle drag. Now, normally I would choose a BRXL, but I realized that a lot of people, the American-made ESC might be a little bit high-priced. So I went with the low-priced ESC for this video just to see if everything works together. So let's get on the rocks and test it out. So before I test it out, let's see what kind of low speed control this guy has. Well, I'd say that's slow enough for crawling, even though with the 9-tooth pinion, I believe we only have about a 42-to-1 gear down on this rig. The tires that I'm using are slightly smaller than stock, so we're not going to get quite as much top speed as if you were running stock tires. But combined with a 9-tooth pinion on 3-cell and this 13-turn Crawlmaster 550, we have just enough speed, in my opinion, for it to be a great rock crawler. We can bump it over objects, but honestly, the Wendigo, oh, our pinion came loose. I'll run and get a pinion driver. So our pinion came loose and it actually fell off, and luckily the magnets on these Crawlmaster Sports are strong enough that the magnet actually attached to the motor and I didn't lose it in the yard. I had a spare in the house, but no big deal. So the reason why it fell off is this was actually an older version of Crawlmaster that has the shorter shaft. All new versions have longer shafts that will work better with this. So I'm just going to tighten this down. We may end up having a little bit of this grub screw rubbing on our spur gear, but you know, for today, I'm just going to go with it. It's going to be fine. And let's see how she rolls. Ah, yeah, that should be fine. It doesn't sound bad. That'll be just fine. All right, we're good to go again. All right, now let's get into the rocks. We'll show you this low speed control. Oh, that's definitely tractable enough to crawl with. But what I want to know is, how is our throttle response? Oh yeah, I can already tell. Lots of gear down, or at least enough for this motor. I had previously tried out a 12 turn and it was just a little too hot. It would get bound down and get kind of poopy feeling, just soft on the throttle, not really where I wanted it to be. So I was pretty sure that the 13 turn would do exactly what I wanted it to do, and I can already tell that it is exactly what we need. These tires may not be what we need though. This rig is really set up for taller tires. But I'll give it a good shake, and we could always, of course, lower our suspension. Yeah, this guy's gonna be a handful in the rocks, I can tell. But still, it's big enough that it should be able to get through these sections. Come on now, buddy. There we are, almost. There we are it. Got to keep that top tire hooked. There it is. A little. Yes. Go through like a proper rock crawler. I want to try that line backwards. Our sway bars certainly aren't helping with flex. Neither are these short tires. But there we are. I'll just have to be a little bit more careful on where I place my wheels. Yeah, and I must say, with the freewheeling mode turned on, this 1080 doesn't drive so bad. Oh, it doesn't have the control of a BRXL, but the BRXL is American made versus Chinese made, and there's a much higher price on it. So I can understand why customers would want to choose this lower priced option. So what better way to know what what customers can use than to test it out myself? Yeah, I think long term I'd want to lower the suspension a little bit on it, but otherwise doing pretty good. There we are. Oh, fall into that hole there. I don't know where I think I was going. I don't think that's gonna work. All right, well, we'll try once again. Yep. Rock racer style. Rock racer style. Just get her wedged in there. Oh yeah, that's how my kid would do it. All right, back to normal crawling. That was ridiculous. And the sway bar, maybe take off the sway bar for proper crawling. Give that back end a little bit more flex. There's a lot of tweaks we could do to help this out, but woo! All right, let's do a quick check on our electronics. Motor. Oh yeah, she's running real cool. Dropping from a 12 to a 13 turn when we could not gear down anymore was the trick. And ESC as well, running cool. Let's see how that servo's doing. That's not doing too bad either. It's really not built for in the rocks. It's only a 25 kilogram servo. Oh, can we make it? Can we make it? No, not quite. Really showing that torque twist. Oh, plenty of torque with this motor. And that goes to show that the volt up gear down mantra can only work so far. If you can't gear down anymore, then you have to go to a slower motor. You can't just add voltage or add kV to it. So there are hard limits. But this thing is pretty dang capable on the rocks, I must say. And it is a larger rig than most of my other ones. And while I'm not extremely enthralled with how the roll center acts, it wasn't made for crawling. So there's gonna have to be, of course, some tweaks to our geometry, some tweaks to our ride height to get this to really act the way that I would want it to for a crawler. But, I mean, it's obvious that it's taking some abuse. It is going, it's gonna do pretty good for what it is. So for a budget conversion to a crawler, I will say this combo has worked better than my expectations did because I knew that we had some gearing limitations on the rig. Overall, if you're looking to crawl with your Wendigo, now it's a proven combo. You could also go with something like a 27 turn in the 550 Trailmaster or something equivalent, but you will want to go slower than your normal choice in most cases. Combine that with a 9-tooth pinion and either a BRXL or a 1080 speed controller, and you're going to have something that works good in the rocks for not a whole lot of cost, and it'll be pretty good on the long term, not going to wear out too fast. And for a brush system, that's good. When you get into a higher power type motor, something with replaceable brushes, it is going to wear out a little bit faster, so keep that in mind. If you want to do a conversion on this, I would say maybe start with that sport motor, see how you like it, and if you want more torque, then go to a higher quality motor from there, but be aware that it may wear out faster. So that's pretty much all I have to say about this. I'm going to keep crawling on the rocks here. I do appreciate it. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I'll do my best to get to them. Y'all have a good day. Thanks for tuning in.